In this video, we'll continue creating our smartwatch, make all the materials, and set up the final scene. Let's split our 3D viewport into two parts. On the left side, we'll have the shader editor. And on the right side, we'll keep an eye on our model. Switch to rendered mode and choose an HDRI map. We'll be rendering in cycles using GPU compute. Set the number of samples and turn on denoise to improve the quality. In the color management menu, let's set the look to high contrast. Now we can create the first material for our strap. For this material, we'll set a simple gray base color with a value of 0.4 and bump up the roughness parameter to 0.6. Assign this exact material to all the other objects that make up the strap, and let's name it Belt. Next, let's create a glass material and name it Glass. Everything is very simple here too. Turn the transmission parameter up to 1 and completely lower the roughness to 0. The next material is Body. Set the metallic parameter to 1 and drop the roughness down to 0.3. For this same object, let's create a second material slot. Create a new material and name it Chrome. Assign this material to the selected faces. After that, set the metallic parameter to 1 and the roughness value to 0.1. Now we can go into edit mode and add an extra loop cut using Ctrl+R to make this transition sharper and help it stand out better against the rest of the watch body. Right now in edit mode, only a quarter of our object is accessible, so we'll apply the mirror modifier and do a UV unwrap of the upper part of our watch so we can overlay a texture on it later. Switch to top view by pressing numpad 7 and choose Project from View. Let's create a third material slot, name it Display, and assign it to the selected faces. Open up a UV editor window to see our unwrap. Then, in the shader editor, bring in our display texture using an image texture node from the Project Assets folder. Plug it into the emission color input and set the emission strength to 1. Make the base color completely black. Next, in the UV editor, tweak the scale of our unwrap to get the desired texture positioning on the display. By checking the clip option for the image texture node, everything outside our texture boundaries will stay completely black, preventing it from repeating across all axes. Let's check out the result by turning off overlays and trying out different HDRI maps. Now let's create a material for the bottom of the watch and temporarily hide the strap collection by pressing H. Name the material Backside. Go into edit mode, and fully unwrap this bottom part from the bottom view using Ctrl plus numpad 7. Again, grab the bottom texture from the project folder and drop it into the shader editor. This texture was generated by an AI based on an internet photo, so it's not perfect, but it'll do for our purposes since we won't be looking at the bottom of the watch too closely. This texture has an alpha channel, so it will act as a factor for mixing two colors. To do this, let's add a mix color node and connect the texture's alpha channel to the factor input. Let's leave the colors as black and white for now. Add UV coordinates using texture coordinate and mapping nodes, tweak the unwrap, and let's see what we get. Make sure to set the extension to clip here too, so our texture doesn't repeat across all axes. And now that we can clearly see our texture on the object, we can adjust the white value and bring it down to 0.25. Let's rotate the unwrap by 180 degrees. Press R, then type 180 in the UV editor, so the Xiaomi logo aligns correctly with the top of our display. Next, let's create some fine details using bump and roughness. Let's take a noise texture node, set it to object coordinates with these parameters, and plug it into the normal input through a bump node, tweaking its strength and distance parameters beforehand. It's already looking pretty good, but let's further adjust the roughness of our object using a color ramp node so that it isn't completely uniform across the entire surface. And this is what the final node setup looks like for this material. For the last element, let's create a material by copying the previous one. They share a lot in common, so we'll just modify the parts that differ. First off, let's replace the texture with the final one from the project folder, which is named backside_text. Fully select the object by pressing A, and from the bottom view, Ctrl plus numpad 7, unwrap it by pressing U, then unwrap. This texture doesn't have an alpha channel, so we'll plug the color directly into the factor input. Using a color ramp node, we'll set up a black and white mask from this texture. This will allow us to map one material to one area and a completely different material to another. We'll be controlling both the texture color and the roughness parameter. Since we are using a texture that isn't the highest resolution, the result won't be as perfect as it would be if we modeled all these elements by hand. However, this saves us a massive amount of time, and besides, we won't be looking at this detail up close. When viewing the entire watch, everything looks great even from the bottom. Duplicate the Mix Color node and plug our texture back into the factor input. Then, connect the roughness to one of the inputs of the Mix node. Now we need to make sure that in areas with the black material, the roughness stays the same as before, but where the glass is, we remove the roughness completely. For the sake of the experiment, we could do the exact same thing for the bump on the glass. It doesn't need to be the same as on the black material, but let's keep it as is here. It makes a very minor contribution anyway, and you can't really see it against this texture. And the last material is for the edges of this ring. Let's create a second material slot, assign it to the selected faces, and make it glossy. Give it a black color and set the roughness value to 0.1. Expand our face selection by one more loop using Ctrl plus numpad plus and assign the material to the last two edge loops. Just like we did with the chrome part, let's use an extra loop cut to adjust this transition and make it look sharper. At this stage, the setup for all materials in our scene is complete. We can rotate the object from all angles and see how it looks under different lighting conditions. Let's split our workspace into two windows. On the left, we'll keep a regular 3D viewport, and in the right window, we'll see what our camera sees and check our final layout by pressing numpad 0. Right now, if we start rotating or scaling our watch, the entire setup for our simple deform modifiers will break. To make it easier to manipulate the whole object, let's create a new collection, name it Watch, and move both of our existing collections inside it. After that, we can simply add a collection instance to our scene, allowing us to easily handle everything as if it were a single, simple object. Let's add a camera to the scene using Shift plus A, arrow, light arrow, camera. Switch to camera view with numpad 0 and change the resolution to 1080 by 1920 pixels. Set the focal length parameter to 100 millimeters. Before we start scaling and rotating our object, let's import the stone asset into the scene, which you can find in the project folder. Now that we can see our stone in the viewport, we can use its size as a guide to position our camera, scale down our watch, and start placing it right in front of the camera. Let's darken the area outside the camera view by going to the Viewport Display panel and adjusting past Part 2. And let's enable composition guides, specifically thirds and center. This will make it incredibly easy to frame our composition. Rotate the stone by pressing R and try to position it so it only occupies the bottom part of our frame. Then, rotate the watch. Position it using G so it sits right in the center of our shot, leaving the top third empty. Align everything nicely. Make sure there are no intersecting geometries between the objects. Check your progress in both the 3D viewport and the camera view to achieve the composition you want. While in camera view, let's add a plane here by pressing Shift plus A, arrow, mesh arrow, plane. In the Adjust Last Operation panel, change the Align setting to View to align the plane exactly to our current camera perspective. After that, move the plane a bit further back and give our stone and plane clear, descriptive names in the outliner. Turn off everything unnecessary, disable overlays, and switch to rendered shading. Check the Scene Lights and Scene World boxes to use the scene's actual lighting, and completely turn off the world environment in the World tab by dropping the strength or color to 0. Right now, our scene should be pitch black, with only the watch display lighting up since its emission is set to 1. Let's add a point light to the scene with Shift plus A, arrow, light arrow, point, and position it in the bottom right corner. Increase its radius to 1. Check Use Nodes for the light and bump the color temperature up to 8000 Kelvin. After that, let's name this light. Next, add another point light and place it above our stone. Set its radius to 0.2. Raise the temperature to 8000 Kelvin as well, and set the power to 20. To make sure this light source only hits the stone and nothing else in our scene, let's go to the Object Properties tab, find the Light Linking menu, and drag in only the objects that this light should affect. In our case, that's just a single object, our stone. Adjust the height of this light, tweak the color and intensity if needed, and once you're happy with how it looks, give it a proper name. Now let's work on the lighting for our watch. Add an area light to the scene, rotate it by 90 degrees, and place it behind the watch. Set its temperature to 7000 Kelvin and its power to 20. Just like we did for the stone, head over to the Object Properties tab, and in the Light Linking menu, specify which objects this light should illuminate. In our case, it'll be the watch collection. Let's add another area light and move it off to the side. To point it directly at our watch, let's go to the Object Constraint Properties tab and add a Track To constraint. Set the target of the constraint to the watch collection. On the Object Properties tab, specify once again that this light should only illuminate our watch and shouldn't affect any other objects in the scene. In the Light Data tab, leave the temperature at 6500 Kelvin and decrease the power to 5. To finish up, let's scale the lamp along its local x-axis by pressing S, arrow, X, and position it until we get the look we want. Duplicate this light using Shift plus D to create another area light. It will keep all the settings we just set up for the first one, including the constraint, size, temperature, power, and its target exclusion to only light up the watch. Let's drop the temperature slightly to 6000 Kelvin, and then give all three of these lights clean names. And with that, the tutorial comes to an end. I hope you learned something new today. We'll wrap things up here, and I'll see you in the next videos.